welcome to This Love in Action. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Kevin.
And This Love in Action is a podcast that explores behind the veil of our marriage to the conversations that help to keep us aligned and connected and on a continuous path of conscious growth. So for today's conversation, we were chatting about connection.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that is so important to our relationship. And I know that we have a number of different practices that help us to stay connected, help us regain connection, especially after conflict or just in general. And I was curious what comes to mind when you think about our connection.
I think like number one staple of what we do is it's twofold. One, walks, but within the walks, it's gratitude. I feel like our staple practice that we do as a couple, both individually, but I love doing it with you, is gratitude, where we will go on a walk and one of us will be like, let's do some gratitude. I think at different points it's been more structured. Sometimes it's not as structured. But it all started with let's do like 3 things we're grateful for. And now it's evolved into what's everything that we're grateful for. It can sometimes take like 20 minutes to go through for both of us. It's a beautiful way to drop in to actually think about what am I grateful for. But I also love the aspect of getting to hear what you're grateful for, because it gets such an insight into what's going on in your world and the things that you're thinking about. And each day it's a little bit different. There's some continuous themes, but sometimes you'll say something, I'm like, oh, I just get more insight into what you're going through, what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's been beautiful.
We used to do, for a long period of time, we did 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm excited about, and then 3 things I'm manifesting. And I actually would love to pivot us back to that because one, the priming of gratitude, I feel like at this point, people know that gratitude is important and it's helpful to do. But even in times where we would go on walks and you would be like, okay, let's do gratitude. I remember there being points where like, I didn't want to do it. I was just kind of in a funk and committing to feeling yucky. And then by the end of it, I'm feeling great. And especially when you do the gratitude, the excitement, and then the manifestations, there is something about that continuous build. And the way that we would do it, at least, is like one of us would start, we would say the 3 things of gratitude, and then we'd switch off to the other person. And so we'd kind of do this like ping pong back and forth. And the thing I loved about the excitement part was this anticipation.
Yeah.
They talk about how planning a vacation is oftentimes
more fun
for the body than actually being on the vacation. And I feel like bringing that good feel forward into the current moment is, it was just lovely. And then when it comes to manifestations, just calling in what we truly want. And it gave us also an opportunity to be on the same team for shared goals. So, yeah.
If there's something in this is the thing that I'm choosing to manifest. If there's 3 things that I'm going to manifest, and it's not limited to that, but that was what we would describe as like the minimum.
Yeah. And we go deep.
Yeah.
We go deep in them. I mean, like we've now done this with other people too. We, sometimes we'll be around other people and it feels a little vulnerable to be like, you guys want to do some gratitude?
I know.
With those people.
With our nephew.
Yeah.
But he's on board.
Well, it feels a little different with him because I'm also like an adult in his life. And to me, I'm like, gosh, like how cool would it have been to be primed with stuff like that at
absolutely
at that age. But it also like it takes our focus away from situational challenges, from just like talking through, and then we're both like jazzed up about stuff, which just feels really good. So hugely agree with this point about gratitude. The other thing I was thinking when it comes to connection is understanding each other's love languages. I mean, we probably should retake the love languages test and maybe even have a separate conversation about that.
Yeah.
But I remember a long time ago hearing from you that touch was so important to you. And I'm a big cuddler. Like, I love that. But there are moments of connection where I feel like we could both be busy doing something and there's a hand on the back. Or or like a look for an extra few minutes of tenderness. And to me, especially as a neurodivergent person, there, uh, the idea of object impermanence, where like if it's not around, like I'll use this in the physical world first, but there are times where I will keep something out just so I can have the physical reminder to get something done, which is not my favorite habit because but it can be
Yeah.
helpful to
Yeah. As
trigger
a
that.
as a physical reminder of like, oh yeah, that thing.
Exactly. And with things like love and connection, it's harder at times to feel that without the physical reminder of how you feel for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so the extra love in the air can be really helpful beyond just like friendly interactions or deep dive conversations where we talk about stuff. Because even though those are lovely and super necessary, they're not romantic.
Mm-hmm.
They're not they're not bringing forward that romantic intimacy and partnership that I can only experience in this container.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big one, I think.
And I think the way that that's been shown is even sometimes when we're in conversations or things are a little bit stressful, or if I'm getting overwhelmed and you've put a hand on my back because you know that that's really important. It's like,
Yeah.
I just feel myself relax. And then I've also learned that physical touch is very important for you. However, emotional connection needs to be established prior to the physical touch is not a bridge to get back to emotional connection.
Oh.
Whereas for me, it is.
Mhm. I think maybe for a lot of men, it can be. And same thing with sex too.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we are not emotionally connected, if there is like energetic distance between us, I can't open my body to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might go in for a kiss and it's not that I don't want to kiss you, it's just that like we're not ready for that. There hasn't been like
Foreplay.
yeah, there hasn't been that emotional foreplay
Mm-hmm.
that helps my body to be receptive of what you're trying to give.
Mm-hmm.
And then at times it's also been a matter of I haven't connected enough with myself such that I feel willing to give you part of me as well. So it's twofold there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess going back to what we're talking about with the love languages, acts of service is a big one for me.
Yeah.
And so knowing that about me when I'm really busy or things are going on, or just knowing you're not going to leave a bunch of dishes in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to leave a bunch of things for me to have to tend to later, or the times where you take a FedEx drop off to be returned. Like those things that free me up where I know for sure you've got this and I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to think about it. That how I experience your love at times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think knowing how your partner receives love and knowing how you want to receive love invites forward more opportunity for connection
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is hard to establish otherwise. Because if you were telling me I love you every day and I still was not necessarily feeling loved, and you were like, "Well, hold on. I'm telling you this every day." I'm like, "Well, that's cool and all, but I'm looking for love in this way. This is
Mm-hmm.
how I want to receive it." And if I'm, spoiling you with gifts but not giving you hugs and you're a physical touch person, like,
Like the gift is great, but like what would be even better is keep the money, just don't spend the thing and just give me a hug. That would feel way better than any gift.
right,
That is the gift.
right.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
you're so right. It's just the way that they want to receive. Because I know for a long time, and I think this is just natural, that you want to give love to people the same way that you like to receive love.
Mhm.
And so there's a big process in just learning to understand how your partner receives love,
Yeah.
to be able to then give that to them. And what a gift that is too, to be like, hey, I've learned what matters to you. I know you well enough then that where you are right now, this is important to you. So I'm going to do this, even though it's out of my comfort zone.
It's a skill.
Yeah,
It's something
absolutely.
that can be learned. There's there's something else in terms of establishing connection that I wanted to share about little moments. So when I think about little moments, it's what is your first interaction when you wake up?
Hmm.
How do you greet your partner when they get home from work? Like, what is happening as you are en route to another activity? So, one of the ways that I feel like we establish connection is sometimes through silliness,
Yeah.
is through playfulness. It's just like you get home from work, it could be super serious, and whatever you're experiencing is totally valid. And also, I want you to know that I'm excited to see you.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, my baby's home. Okay.
I remember so vividly when we were first starting dating, you definitely started this, which is how you would greet me when I would come back. And you would just be like sitting off in the corner and like wiggling your butt, like just like couldn't restrain your excitement. And then I would open the door and I'd see you there and you just sprint and like jump in my arms. And it was just like, what a way to be greeted
Oh,
when there's so much excitement. And then even fast forwarding to this morning, I got back from the grocery store and I'm like in the garage getting stuff, but you came out to the garage and you're like, "Hey babe, like how are you?" And you like came up and greeted me and it was like you could have waited for me to come inside and said something there. You could have been doing something, but you chose to come outside and meet me where I was, and it meant a lot. Just those little moments of that extra piece that builds the building blocks of connection, because it's not just a one and done. It's
yeah.
all of these little moments that stack on themselves that's continuous connection.
I think it's threading the intention. I mean, you do this too. Sometimes you'll leave like little notes or letters for me when I go on, when I travel, like
Hmm.
something that's deep and relevant and that's lovely to read. And
It's a fun little game to be like, where
yeah,
can I hide it in a place that's meaningful?
yeah. And it feels great. It feels great to receive that. I know I've done that for you as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, there is a surprise and delight factor in creating more moments of awe and joy in life. And you could just be going through the motions, or you could look for opportunities to add more glitter
Mm.
to your life and for your partner. And I just feel like as a partner, it's like such a beautiful opportunity that we have to just really love on someone in the way
Yeah.
that they deserve to be loved. And the way that you love on me is different from the way that I love on you. And I think it's taken us time to establish that. But I think if you're listening to this and you're not even sure how your partner wants to be loved on, like start asking the questions, start trying stuff, start putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and use this podcast as an example. Send this to your partner,
Hmm.
have the conversation to be like, I want more connection in our world. I feel disconnected from you. I'd like to be more connected
Hmm.
because for a lot of people, I think it can turn into an argument where you feel disconnected. And then if you and I, for example, were to feel disconnected, and then I would be like, Kevin, can you throw in the laundry? And then our lives become
Stickle.
logistical, focused on the tasks at hand,
Hmm.
focused on directives. And there is need for responsibility. And also, when someone is going through their day, like feeling appreciated,
What
feeling
a light.
seen, it doesn't mean that every time you do the laundry, I'm like, oh my God, Kevin, you did the laundry. Like, maybe there's room for that, but also like just appreciating them.
Hmm.
Start paying attention to what your partner does. I guarantee they do a lot more than you think.
Hmm.
Start appreciating them for what they do, the things that you want to encourage them to do more of.
Oh, that's a big point. I feel like one thing that we all just learned growing up was like punishment is the way to get people to do what you want.
Mm,
It, it,
it's like the negative
the
reinforcement
negative
model.
reinforcement, when humans and animals alike respond to positive affirmation, what you praise, people gravitate towards. And finding ways to appreciate that in your partner is amazing. And I think it sort of blends into this last point that I want to make too, which is things that you can do with yourself to help you reinforce your partner's connection and love. When they do things to respond and say, they did that because they love me.
Mm,
Someone cleans up the table and it's like, oh, they did that because they love me. Or someone wrote a note, oh, they did that because they love me. But it's all these little things that you can just say throughout the day of they did that because they love me. And it reinforces that belief rather than looking for opportunities where they might not love you and you're overlooking all the ways that they do show up for you.
Mhm.
Because we are negatively oriented as people and as humans. So our brains go towards looking for the negative. So we are actively trying to be like, no, this is a positive. I want to remember this. I want to note it.
Mhm. What you're hitting on right now, too, is perspective.
Hmm.
It's how you shift your own perspective to be connected, to invite more opportunity forward. And it's bringing me to another point about connection, which is you can only be as connected to your partner as you are connected to yourself.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But if you're not connected to yourself and your partner is feeling disconnected from you, chances are that's a mirror to your own need to self-connect. And you can't outsource that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could come to you all day and be like, Kevin, we're disconnected. And you would read it as, oh, needy, right? Makes sense that you would, because there is a neediness to it. Not because my desire for connection is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but because if I haven't filled my own cup before I'm looking for connection with you, I am energetically sending out the signal that you are responsible for filling my cup,
Yes.
and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the self-connection process is also making time for yourself. If you're going to make a date night with your partner, I sure as hell hope that you're making a date night for yourself, that you're setting aside designated time to look at yourself in the mirror and say nice things, to wear something that makes you feel good because it makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And then looking at yourself and being like, I like
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
working with. You
Yeah.
know, like giving yourself the love that you know you deserve. And you might be surprised at how your partner mirrors that love back. Because I think we're looking to be trained.
Mm.
Like our whole life is kind of this training and reinforcement process of how we should think and what we should believe. And a lot of popular media, we start to do this comparison thing
Mm-hmm.
rather than using that as um, like an example for how to treat ourselves.
Mm.
And we have this opportunity where we can come back to the table with ourselves and show up and be like, okay, I'm not going to eat healthy because it's going to make my body look a certain way. I'm going to eat healthy because I deserve to love on myself through how I nourish myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to unadd this person because they made me angry. I'm going to unadd this person because I have boundaries and there's something that's getting reflected that is not bringing out who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are all of these like small and big ways that we can show up for ourselves. And oftentimes in a long-term partnership, you're my biggest mirror in
Mm-hmm.
the best ways. You reflect beautiful things back at me. And also sometimes you reflect stuff at me that I don't want to look at.
Yeah.
And I think connection is this like really awesome opportunity to establish like how connected are you to yourself?
That's the key. That's the key. And I know it's so easy to outsource that to your partner. That if you do that, if you act a certain way, then I will feel safe and good and trust the connection that we have. But time and time again, that doesn't work in the long term. It might just be a little hit of
Mhm.
like, okay, cool, I feel better now. But it goes away right away. And I think it's this sense of like when you sit with yourself and you figure out what's going on with yourself, there is a sense that you when you walk back into the room with your partner, there is a groundedness that you show up with that is magnetic. Your partner almost gravitates towards you a little bit more because they're like, oh, I can feel like you don't need me to validate you to be who you are. So now I'm now curious to come spend time with you because I like this energy. This is attractive. This is fun. I know that's played out in our relationship too, where I outsourced so much of that to you for many years. And then as I started doing my work, you were like, oh, hey,
Yeah. Me
I like
too.
this way better. Do more of this.
Well, I mean, the truth is that I didn't meet you when you were outsourcing energy onto me. That
Hmm.
wasn't the initial point of attraction for us.
Oh,
So,
it's such a good point.
like there was that energetic space where I was like, oh, look at you. You are an individual person. I see this and
Mm,
I am attracted to it. And then when you get in a relationship and you like lose yourself in it and you start outsourcing too much onto your partner, there's the tendency for codependence, but also like there's no separation. Like if you see me as a feeder into you, it's almost parasitic of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, there was something that you said earlier. I'm trying to remember. I've forgotten now. That's okay.
That's okay. I feel like we touched on some good stuff.
Yeah.
The final thing that I'll share is connection is a continuous process.
I remember what I was going to say. Do you mind if I share?
Oh, go for it.
So, oh no. Did it just go again? Stop. Oh, okay.
And we're back.
What I was going to say is that, you know, there are so many people who are in relationships who are trying to force connection. And like there are so many people in relationships that actually are not in good relationships. Like you and I were not in a good relationship for a long time. And we found a way to work together to make it healthy, and now we're here, and I'm so grateful that we put in all that work. And also, I think part of the reason why people stay in these relationships that are not serving them is because they are outsourcing that need for connection. And the interesting part about this is that when you stop hooking your talons into someone, trying to accumulate connection from them to make up for what you lack within you, and you start looking inward to connect with yourself, to love yourself, to fill your own cup, chances are you will re-enter that room with a new set of boundaries and expectations, and you'll notice more if that partner is not meeting what you deserve. Because if my bar is now here for the type of love I give myself, and my bar for what my partner has been giving me is down here, I'm going to notice the gap. And my new baseline is that someone love me as well as I love myself.
And your partner is not the only source of that love anymore. So you're taking the low bar because you're like, well, I'm getting something.
Right.
Whereas like, no, I'm giving myself all of this. If that's all that you can muster, no, thank you.
Right. And also you lead by example. So if I'm loving myself up here, my partner is going to see that, and either they're going to source inspiration and be like, oh, how's she loving herself? Maybe not consciously, but they have the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, this is what that level of love looks like. And they can invite that forward for themselves and for you as well.
Yeah.
So there are so many other ways, and I'm sure like we'll have more points on this, but if you liked what you heard and you have any questions for us about connection or about anything we talked about, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And as always, tune in on Wednesdays for our most recent release of our podcast, This Love in Action, and follow us on every social media platform under the same handle. Much love, you guys.